I was originally a world without consciousness. But even the heavenly Tao was helpless against me. Simply because I am the first human created by Nuwa. Back when Nuwa created me, she had no experience. So I ended up with only an outer shell, with no consciousness. After Nuwa ascended and became a saint, she left me forgotten in this world. In later generations, the human race considered that, after all, I was the first human ever created by the Holy Mother. So they placed me behind the statues of the Holy Mother Nuwa and the sage Laozi, and so I stood in this world for hundreds of years. But today, a strong stench of blood awakened me. When I opened my eyes, I saw hundreds of humans kneeling before the statues of Nuwa and Laozi. Great sages, please hear the prayers of your children, show your divine power, and save the human race. The prayers of the humans reached my ears. From these pleas, I could tell the human race was facing a great crisis. But no matter how much they prayed, the statues of Nuwa and Laozi showed no reaction at all. At this moment, someone finally couldn't help but stand up. Holy Mother, great sages, the Wu and demon clans are slaughtering humans to forge weapons. Now tens of thousands of my people have been massacred. Will you just stand by and watch our extinction? Hearing these words, I finally understood why the mountain was filled with such a strong scent of blood. Damn Wu clan and demon clan. As the very first human of the era, the thought of the human race facing extinction filled my heart with raging anger and killing intent. But as a statue, I could do nothing. Just as I was grieving for my kind's impending doom, suddenly a beam of light from the sky shone upon me. Then my consciousness was pulled into a mysterious space. A mysterious voice appeared in that space. Host, you are favored by the heavenly Tao, and I command the supreme territory divine power. Within my territory, all magic is ineffective and eternally invincible. The initial territory is a range of 100 feet. The more enemies you kill, the larger your territory becomes. At this moment, demonic energy surged at the foot of the mountain, accompanied by waves of blood-curdling screams. The human race has not existed for long, and although they are naturally gifted, they are still extremely weak. In just a few breaths, thousands of blood-soaked humans had retreated to the mountain peak. Sage Laozi, we beg you, please save the human race. If you don't act now, my people truly will go extinct. The humans cried out as one, but still received no response. The demons who charged up to the summit laughed at the sight, all grinning wickedly. They were already prepared to wipe out the humans. At that moment, all surviving humans were filled with despair. Just as the demons were about to strike, I stepped out from behind the humans, passed through the crowd, and shielded all the humans behind me. The surviving humans were all utterly shocked when they saw me. The statue actually came to life. The 2 men and 1 woman who had stood in front of everyone opened their mouths when they saw me, not knowing what to say. I calmly said, "Everyone, get behind me." Hearing my words, the 3 human tribes led the rest of the people to retreat to the back. But when the demons heard me, they burst out laughing. Humans are nothing but ants to us. And you are just a slightly stronger ant. Is that so? You're welcome to try. Now this summit of Mount Kongtong is my initial territory. It's only about 100 feet in radius, but it's more than enough to protect the humans behind me. The demon general was furious at this. How dare a lowly thing challenge me? I immediately waved my hand, ordering the slaughter. The demon army, led by their general, charged excitedly at the humans. A swarm of demon soldiers closed the distance in an instant. My mind was calm. I patiently calculated the distance, and as soon as they stepped into my territory, I quietly announced, "In human territory, flying is forbidden." As soon as I finished speaking, a formless wave rippled outward. All demons flying in the air dropped like dumplings into a pot, crashing to the ground. The 3 tribes of humans were stunned at the sight, their mouths wide open in shock. Their faces were full of disbelief, and the leading demon general was struck with terror. He couldn't sense any magic from me, and couldn't figure out why approaching demons suddenly fell. All demons within my territory were gripped with terror. Why can't we fly anymore? Even just transformed young demons can fly. What on earth is happening? Could it be that Empress Nua or Sage Laozi have intervened? As soon as that thought occurred, the demons all panicked. Empress Nua, Sage Laozi, we'll leave right now. Since the sages have intervened, it's clear that these thousands of humans must be protected. Although the demon clan is simple-minded, they're not dumb enough to go up against the sages. The generals quickly turned and fled. At that very moment, my cold voice rang out, "Who said you could leave?" "In prison." At my command, a formless force swept out instantly. All the demons were shocked to find themselves unable to move. Only then did they finally see clearly that those who grounded and restrained them were not the sages, but me, the one they had regarded as no more than an ant. The leading demon snorted coldly and ordered the demon soldiers to launch magical attacks from afar. All the demons gathered power and targeted me. But just as they were about to unleash their attacks, I lightly said, in human territory, "Fire." That left them dumbfounded. The demons remained in attacking stances, but however full their spells were, they couldn't release any of them. The eyes of all these demon soldiers widened, and they stared at me in horror. Now, not only can they not fly, they can't even move at all, forced to stand there like wooden dummies. A demon, his voice trembling, pleaded, "Let us go. We'll leave right now." They were obviously terrified. But unfortunately, no matter what they said now, it was too late. With a single thought, those 100 demons exploded one after another, vanishing from this world. Such a bizarre scene filled the surviving demons with horror. The humans watching from behind were also stunned, their eyes wide in disbelief, our ancestors terrifying beyond compare. As the countless demons were annihilated, the system voice rang out in my mind again. "You have gained enough energy. Now your invincible territory has leveled up to level 2, and the territory radius increased to 1,000 feet. Listening to the system prompts, the corners of my mouth turned up slightly. When the humans saw the field of demon corpses, they all began cheering for this hard-won victory. Suddenly, a voice like a dragon's roar thundered. This voice was so loud, it shook the entire earth violently. A demon giant clad in golden armor led an immense demon army that appeared from every ravine. Seeing this, all the humans behind me were terrified. They cowered behind my back, not daring to show themselves. A member of the 3 human tribes whispered to me, "That one. Is the demon commander responsible for this massacre of our people?" Upon hearing his explanation, I nodded slightly. Meanwhile, after the distant demon clan commander arrived on the battlefield, he looked around, but couldn't sense any lingering presence of a powerful being. Then,
he fixed his gaze on the fearful human clan
and roared, "Leave no one alive." As he spoke, he took a step forward and entered my invincible domain. Seeing this, I no longer concealed myself. Arrogant. That demon clan commander didn't even have time to realize what was happening before being crushed by my heaven-earth manifestation skill. Finally, I looked toward the group of demons. At this moment, all of them were frozen in shock, their pupils contracting suddenly, staring at me in utter disbelief. He killed them with a single slap. Some demons tried to escape. I stood in midair with my hands behind my back, overlooking the demons below. Now I was guarding this place. Anyone who harms the human clan shall be executed without mercy. The humans hiding behind me finally dared to poke their heads out to check what had happened. Suddenly, several hundred powerful presences rushed in from afar. Everyone witnessing the scene cried out in fear, "Patriarch, run! The army of the Wu clan is attacking." However, I simply glanced over indifferently and raised my hand to signal everyone to quiet down. The Wu clan commander led hundreds of Wu clan warriors as they descended. Seeing the terrified demon clan, he sneered, "So it's just you lot. Turns out you're just minor demons from Western Demon Mountain. Where is your commander? Tell him to get out here. Tell him the Wu clan is taking over this territory." All the demons were scared out of their wits. They weren't in the mood to answer him. This only fueled the Wu commander's anger even more. He grabbed across the distance. Catching a small demon, "Commander asks you, where is your leader? Hurry up, The little demon was so scared his face was trembling, the corners of his mouth twitching. He reached out his hand, shaking, and pointed at me. It was him. Hearing the little demon's words, the Wu clan commander frowned, then mercilessly crushed the little demon's head. Seeing this, the anger suppressed in the demons threatened to erupt. Hundreds of Wu clan and demon clan warriors, before any orders were given, all showed ferocious expressions, drawing their own weapons and prepared for confrontation. The Wu clan commander glanced over from a distance and discovered it was just one human standing there. He shot a side glance at the demon clan. Demons really are worthless. You can't even handle a bunch of ants. And you tried to convince me that humans could turn the tables. Facing the Wu clan commander's mockery, the demon clan didn't dare to retaliate. All they could do was retreat sullenly. Before his words even faded, the Wu clan commander looked at Si Chiu Feng. Waving his hand, he sneered, "Perfect. Let's capture these humans, take their souls, and use them against these useless demons." The sharp, terrifying laughter of the Wu clan echoed across the land, sending chills down the spines of all the humans. They all felt an impending crisis. Attack! The Wu clan commander squeezed the air, and a blue war hammer appeared in his hand. Instantly, an overwhelming immortal energy surged around him. A thick, misty energy rolled forward. Hundreds of Wu and demon clan warriors, after receiving the order, charged rapidly in my direction. Each of them moved as swiftly as arrows loosed from the bow. I touched my wrist and muttered, "The Wu clan, huh?" As I finished speaking, a sky-filling storm suddenly erupted above. In the blink of an eye, hundreds of Wu and demon clan warriors were wiped out. The remaining demons who hadn't left. When did the human clan produce such a powerful ancestor? My piercing gaze swept from afar, making all the demons feel a chill run down their spines. And they fled in panic instantly. "Congratulations, host. You have gained energy." Territory upgraded to level 3. Territory scope increased to 1,000 zhang in radius. With my hands behind my back, I watched as my powerful domain materialized. Now I can protect even more people. News of a human annihilating the Wu clan commander spread quickly. Mount Kongtong became the focus of all races' attention. My sudden rise as the #1 figure in the primordial world gave hope to the human race. Mount Kongtong's summit, the 3 ancestors of the human clan, leading 3,000 people, appointed me as the supreme leader of the human clan, hoping I could lead humanity against the Wu and demon clans. To survive, looking at the 3 ancestors of humanity and the remaining 3,000 humans, a sense of duty surged within me. In my past life, I read countless primordial era novels and saw countless Wu and demon clan massacres of humans, but it never really affected me. But right now, as the #1 person of the primordial world, witnessing these bloody and brutal scenes myself, I couldn't help but feel enraged. Only now do I truly understand how tragic it has been for the human race during this time. Perhaps protecting humanity is the reason I was brought to this world. Seeing me silent, the 3 ancestors exchanged glances, then knelt down on one knee, as if participating in a grand ritual to heaven and earth, prostrating themselves just like they would to Nuwa and Laozi, and cried out, begging the supreme leader of humans to bless the human race. The 3 ancestors, bowing in succession, quickly resonated with the thousands of humans. The voices of humanity echoed from the summit of Mount Kongtong, resounding through the mountains and rivers. We begged the supreme leader of humans to bless the human clan. Looking at the thousands kneeling before me, I declared resolutely, "I am the first and foremost of the primordial world. Naturally, it is my duty to protect humanity." With all eyes on me, I walked to the most prominent spot, with the 3 ancestors close behind, their eyes filled with tears, because humanity could now see a future, and even a hope for a revival. I pursed my lips. With a wave of my hand, my voice spread out from the mountaintop into the emptiness, falling upon everyone, like a god chanting, penetrating to the depths of their souls. Blessings to the supreme leader. This was a moment to witness. At this moment, 3,000 humans below the stage stared wide-eyed, not blinking as they fixed their gaze on me, their eyes full of curiosity, wanting to know what I, the newly appointed supreme leader, was about to say to them. I looked over the 3,000 humans, speaking slowly but forcefully. Whoever assaults the human clan will never be forgiven. Everyone fell silent in surprise. Whoever assaults the human clan will never be forgiven. What they were hoping for was simply survival. But now the supreme leader was talking about revenge. That's right, the Wu and Demon clans nearly wiped us out. Don't we deserve revenge? Whoever assaults the human clan will never be forgiven. The three ancestors were the first to react and shouted with all their might. Whoever assaults the human clan will never be forgiven. Whoever imprisons the human clan will never be forgiven. The momentum surged to the sky. I nodded, then turned and looked up at the sky, and coldly declared, I am the supreme leader of humanity. Hereby I proclaim to the primordial world, from this day forward the human clan and the Wu and Demon clans will never rest until one is destroyed. As soon as the words were spoken, a thunderous rumble echoed, rolling heavenly thunder. The world changed colors. The human and witch demon clans are locked in a fight to the death. 3,000 humans on Mount Kunlun, led by the leaders of their three clans, joined voices declaring that the human clan and witch demon clans will fight to the bitter end. The human and witch demon clans are locked in a fight to the death. Meanwhile, there are also two of the ancient human clans. They emerged from Wuzhuang Temple and Shaoying Mountain. In an instant, the mountains and rivers resonated. Mysterious golden runes appeared across the skies and void. They sparkled like stars on the azure canopy. Golden waves rippled across the entire prehistoric world. Some of them carried the pressure of heavenly law. In an instant, it enveloped the entire realm. Some powerful beings sensed it and were shocked yet puzzled. It was the heavenly Tao oath of the human clan. It actually caused an anomaly in the heavenly Tao. At that moment, I glanced over in surprise, toward Wuzhuang Temple and Shaoying Mountain. A smile appeared on my face. Turns out there are still humans who have survived. This is truly a joyous event. The humans declare war. The witch demon clans are interesting. Never imagined such a modest human oath could stir the heavenly Tao. It's simply incredible. I wonder how the witch demon clans will respond. All the races of the prehistoric world were deeply shocked. They are also eager to see how the witch demon clans will react. Right now, the witch demon clans are the dominant forces of this world. One rules the heavens, the other governs the earth. Humans have been so provocative. How could the witch demon clans remain silent? Inside the ancestral witch hall, all 12 ancestral witches gathered. Normally, they reside in separate tribes, only coming together for major events, called upon by Emperor Zhang for discussions. Now the human clan has sworn an oath to the heavenly Tao, vowing to fight the witch clan to the death. This has angered the witch clan. Of the 12 ancestral witches, all but Hao Tu were furious. Among them, the hot-tempered Zhulong and Gonggong even threatened to personally lead armies to eradicate the humans. They were stopped by Hao Tu with great effort. I never agreed to slaughter the human clan before. Now that a human supreme being has appeared, and can even cause anomalies in the heavenly Tao, this human supreme, or rather this human clan, must be extraordinary. Perhaps there's a way to make amends and repair our relationship with the humans. Hao Tu suggested. Back when the witch clan was slaughtering humans, she tried her best to prevent it. Unfortunately, the other ancestral witches ignored her words. The only thing she could do was restrain her tribe's witches from joining the slaughter. Hao Tu's efforts eased things a bit. A bunch of pitiable ants. Only you care about them. Such insignificant ants dare to provoke the witch clan's authority? If we don't wipe them out, all races will laugh at us. That's right, we should just eliminate them. The other ancestral witches echoed in agreement. Emperor Zhang, the space ancestral witch, as the leader of the 12, thought about the human supreme's oath. Able to stir the heavenly Tao. It truly shouldn't be underestimated. But precisely because of this, they must be destroyed. Our witch clan killed so many humans. To forge the witch demon sword, there's no chance of reconciliation now. So let's wipe them out. Zhulong stood up. I'll wipe out the human clan myself. Let me do it. I don't trust you with this. How dare you look down on me? You're both ignorant and weak. If you get slain by the humans, you'd disgrace the ancestral witch clan's reputation. How about we have a contest? Why not? All the ancestral witches frowned, feeling a headache coming. Zhulong, the fire ancestral witch, and Gonggong, the water ancestral witch, were born around the same time. And their attributes naturally clash, so from birth they never got along. Neither will give in to the other. Both are hot-tempered and quick to explode. Emperor Jiang rubbed his brow and spoke in a deep, loud voice.
Enough.
Zhulong and Gonggong glared at each other and snorted, then sat back down. After all, they heed their big brother's words. Emperor Jiang continued, to destroy a mere few thousand humans. If we ancestral witches need to act, won't all races laugh at us? Jiangliang, your sister Jiufeng has already reached the rank of Great Witch. Let her lead 1,000 witches to Kongtong Mountain. Xiangliang nodded. Then, he sent a message to his sister Jiufeng, who stayed in the tribe. Far away, Jiufeng received her brother's summons, and immediately gathered over 1,000 witches from the Thunder tribe, heading to Kongtong Mountain. Meanwhile, Mount Buzhou glowed in magnificent brilliance. Filled with the mysterious aura of the heavenly court, countless demons worshipped the human clan like gods. Their oath stirred the heavenly Tao. What do you all think? Humans are only a tiny minority now. The gap between them and our demon clan is massive. They pose no threat. In my opinion, we should just ignore them. He's exceptionally wise, and he knows Emperor Jun wants to wipe out the humans. Among all the demons, he's the only one opposed to the demon clan, slaughtering the human clan on such a large scale. He holds the title of Western Emperor, but has little authority over the demon clan. Ignoring the Eastern Emperor, Tai squinted and said coldly, such puny human ants. Being so provocative. If nothing is done, how will all races respect our demon clan in the future? Demon Master Kumping half closed his eyes, seemingly dozing off, totally uninterested in matters concerning the human clan. Let's discuss this later. Emperor Jun looked at Fuxi, then at Tai, then concluded, though he wants to wipe out the humans, he must keep Fuxi on his side. After all, this is key for later confronting the Wu clan. Heaven and earth are wise. Fuxi clasped his hands, but sighed quietly in his heart. With his intelligence, how could he not see through Emperor Chan's motives? Tai said nothing more, but after returning from the Lingshao Palace to the Eastern Emperor's palace, he summoned Demon General Jing, who led 1,000 elite demons straight toward Kongtong Mountain. I really want to know, what kind of supreme being dares to lead a group to declare war on my heavenly court? Eastern Emperor Tai stood with his hands behind his back, authoritative without anger. A powerful wave of pressure swept across the land, quieting all the demons with fear. Between heaven and earth, the sharp forces sent by the witch demon clans streaked through the skies. Whirlwinds raised flash floods. The sky collapsed and the earth cracked. All the hidden races in the mountains felt overwhelming terror. They knew this was the witch demon clan's displeasure toward humans. They were about to unleash their thunderous wrath. Meanwhile, Chu Feng was still atop Kongtong Mountain. He too felt the overwhelming demon clan pressure, rapidly approaching. Turning his head, he saw the darkened sky above. Countless demons soaring and spreading their wings, brandishing weapons with angry glares. Jing, leading them, frowned. Witch clan, why are you here too? None of your business. Jiu Feng's expression changed. A fiery, murderous intent flashed in her sidelong glance. The Wu and Yao clans have been at odds for many years. They've long been sworn enemies. The only reason there hasn't been an outbreak yet is because they're under strict orders. At that moment, Chu Feng touched his wrist. Amidst the howling wind approaching him, a towering figure stood behind him. 3,000 humans faced thousands of Wu and Yao. They were trembling with fear, yet they looked at Chu Feng with unwavering resolve. Watching the clan leaders still arguing high above, Chu Feng stepped forward and continued, the two of you are here as guests. Chu Feng's voice reached their ears. At this moment, Jian stopped confronting Jiu Feng and shouted, "I come by the mandate of heaven." Kneel immediately, apologize, and swear your allegiance to heaven, or your people will be slaughtered. Jiu Feng frowned on the side, but at the thought of Dejang's command, she chose to assert her dominance. By order of Lord Dejang, kneel and apologize. Hu Feng laughed. It was a laugh filled with rage. He narrowed his eyes. His unrestrained murderous intent swept out like a storm. He looked at the Wu and Yao clans and sneered, "Wu and Yao, slaughtering humanity. The law of survival of the fittest has always ruled this world." Now the Wu and Yao looked down from above. "Have you forgotten this truth? Survival of the fittest." Jiu Feng sneered, "Insignificant humans are only worthy of becoming the dead beneath our feet. Disrespecting heaven and earth, today you all will be slaughtered." Zhu Ying was furious. Chu Feng took a deep breath. He accepted a weapon from a fellow human beside him. Had I known about Dejin and Dejang, what would there be to fear? Watching Chu Feng at that moment, Zhu Feng and Jin were even angrier. They realized that Yu Feng was the supreme of humanity. Zhu Feng suddenly spread her wings and soared. Sand and rocks flew across Skeleton Mountain. Bluestone shattered into dust. Rows of massive trees were uprooted. A terrifying pressure descended like mountains and seas. Over 1,000 Wu clan members crashed to the ground, causing a massive tremor through the land. 3,000 humans fell to the ground, torn and battered, utterly terrified. At the same time, Jian unleashed his rage. 9 giant snake heads, as massive as mountains, kept flicking their tongues. His entire body flowed with fog-like flames and watery mist, hazy and dangerous. He roared at Yu Feng and commanded the other monsters, "Slaughter every human here." Thousands of monsters gathered. They attacked with full force at that moment. A dark, oppressive wave descended, utterly terrifying. Thousands of powerful auras flooded the scene. Yu Feng raised his brows and lifted his right hand for every single person. All are blessed and protected. In an instant, the Wu and demon clansmen transformed into dazzling streaks of rainbow light and came howling in. Some stampeded across the ground. Others sped just above it. Their strength was formidable. With a single stride, they appeared outside the territory as if by teleportation. Behind the surging Wu and demon clans stood the massive Jing. Its 9 gigantic tongues waved in the air, blocking out the sky and sun. Incredibly terrifying. Up above, Zhu Feng was also channeling the power of the Grand Thunder Witch. The heavens rumbled with thunder. Dark clouds rushed in with the wind. Zhu Feng soared across the sky, her speed several times greater than Jing's. She opened her mouth and spat out a divine greatsword, cutting through the very order of the void, shattering the chains of cosmic law. With resounding clangs, a powerful and fearsome force suddenly unleashed a bloody storm. The land, which had just revived, was once again devastated. Yu Feng gazed at the surging Wu and demon clans and remained silent. At that moment, everyone was stricken with fear, never having seen such an overwhelming array. Their legs were trembling. Yet just then, Group 3 of the human clan saw Chu Feng unmoving and stepped forward one by one. One among them shouted, "We will fight side by side with the Supreme. We will battle the Wu and demons to the death." 3,000 human warriors looked at the 3 human clan leaders, then turned their resolute gazes to Chu Feng. Someone in the crowd cried, "For the human clan! Kill!" 3,000 followed their leaders into the charge. By now they had no fear of death. Their resolve to fight the Wu and demons to the last drop of blood was stronger than ever. They understood deeply. As long as the Supreme survives, the human clan will endure. Watching the 3,000 awakened warriors rushing by with newfound bravery, Yu Feng laughed heartily. "These are the people I have sworn to protect, no matter what." The Wu and demons surged forth together. In the blink of an eye, they broke into Chu Feng's territory. Zhu Feng's divine greatsword stirred up a storm on the ground. As a powerful witch clan member, He had long since cultivated an endless killing aura. Now that aura spread along the divine greatsword, even shaking the hearts of the 3,000 humans. But Chu Feng remained unmoved. The corners of Ju Feng's eyes twitched, and she cried out to the sky again, even the tips of her feathers flickering with deadly energy. Now the battlefield had turned the vast seas to dust, the thunder to a tumultuous ocean, like the end of the world. Utterly horrifying, Jing leapt in, its aura stirring like wind and thunder. In a flash, its massive body was about to land. Flames spewed from its mouth, blotting out the sky. Chu Feng raised his hand, destroying the divine aura with his own power alone, and extinguished the flames with his own might. The tremendous force dissipated instantly. Jing and Ju Feng were stunned on the spot. At the same time, some unknown energy suddenly descended upon the world, mysterious and awe-inspiring. It carried a terrifying and overwhelming pressure. The Wu and demons speeding along the ground crashed down at once. Those flying fell out of the sky. All were shocked to the core. The Wu clan tried to use their powers, but found nothing happened. Only their physical bodies could move at all, and even then only about 3 feet at a time. The murderous Wu and demons were suddenly consumed by fear. They had no idea why. Damn it, what kind of bizarre technique is this? The demons were even more terrified. All their previously understood laws were useless. None of their powerful skills could be used. The strongest among them struggled to act, but could only muster a small spark. Feng's fierce gaze was full of killing intent, and he stepped forward. Wind, thunder, and clouds surged, and the air roared with his formidable power. In that instant, his eyes gleamed. Thunder crashed overhead, and as he raised his hand, lightning flashed, like a divine sword tearing through the sky. In a heartbeat, the entire sky turned dazzling silver, causing heaven and earth to lose their color. The mountains and rivers darkened. Chu Feng looked beyond his territory, at Ju Feng and Jing suspended in the air.
He said coldly, "Those who trespass against my human clan
Shall be killed without mercy." His voice carried far and wide, echoing like the 3,000 ancient gods and demons reciting, as if speaking to the two of them, and also to the entire wild world. As soon as his words fell, Chu Feng struck from afar, unleashing gray clouds across the sky, forming a colossal hand, to crush 1,000 demons on the ground. At that moment, the invisible shackles tightened even further. No matter how desperately the demons tried to escape, it was useless. Ordinarily, they could travel leagues in a heartbeat, but now they could only move 3 feet at a time, even burning their life force, giving their all. They could not escape the grasp of the gray clouds. Amidst the chaos and panic, a golden light tore through the void, bursting from nothingness, shattering time itself. And in the end, all 1,000 demons were slain. With his growing mastery of power, Chu Feng became ever more skilled, honing himself on the grinding stone delivered to his door. Across the shattered earth, demon corpses were everywhere, their bodies as massive as mountains. Even those with traces of dragon blood were crushed to death. Like the wind, he stood unyielding, his gaze resolute, killing intent almost tangible as it surged from him, forming a blood-red veil around his body. Now he struck, wielding almighty power. And, in a thought, a snowy white, heavenly blade suddenly appeared in the void, its intent blazing forth, astonishingly brilliant. For a moment it felt like eternity, like all futures were contained within. Such power left people dazed. He took a deep breath, and pointed his finger downward. The pressure plummeted. Seeing the Wu and demons struggling to escape, he sneered, "Go down and join them." With a boom, the remaining Wu all felt their bodies sink, as if bearing 10,000 tons on their backs. With every step, they left bottomless pits behind. Gritting their teeth, they moved with difficulty, feeling a crushing force upon them. The ground rumbled. Earth dragons roiled beneath the surface. All of Kongtong Mountain shook violently. Under the stunned gazes of the Wu and demons, Chu Feng unleashed greater power, pouring it down from above, with overwhelming might. The light was blinding, and great chasms opened in the ground, like terrifying scars widening outward. Countless Wu corpses fell into them, never to live again. The humans were shielded by golden light, allowing them to withdraw safely. More and more, orbs of light began to float upward. On the verge of death, the humans were protected by Chu Feng. Giant fissures like cosmic black holes cut across the battlefield, constantly spewing from below. Chilling air spread like a spiderweb. But thanks to Chu Feng's quick actions, the 3,000 were unharmed. Confronted by the unstoppable Chu Feng, the remaining Wu were shocked and terrified, turning around to escape. Chu Feng displayed his killing techniques like a war god. His entire body was surrounded by an unfathomable mystery, bringing a sense of oppressive mystery. In that moment, the screams of the Wu clan echoed across the summit of Kongtong Mountain. The cries for help and chaotic voices shook the heavens. Jiu Feng, the Grand Wu priest, save me. The power of this human is not something we can resist. The Wu clan fled in all directions. However, their situation was even more difficult than the Yogu clan. They couldn't escape even half a step. A powerful oppressive force descended from the sky. It surged up from underground, enveloping all the Wu clan. All their previous arrogance vanished completely. All they wanted now was to flee. Some even regretted coming to Kunlun Mountain. It's too late to retreat. Finally, Chu Feng raised his foot again. Stomping in the air suddenly, an anomaly appeared again, transforming into countless towering divine swords suspended high above, causing the heavens to shake and fall, unleashing world-destroying power. If you came, you'll be killed. Stay here for me. Be buried together with the fallen humans. The sky that had just cleared of mist. Suddenly 3,000 thunderbolts gathered, taking the shape of a giant foot that stomped fiercely from above. Thunder rumbled non-stop. The deafening sound swept across the land. All the clans watching the battle felt deeply disturbed. The Wu clan, restricted, had nowhere to escape. Amid the Wu clan's screams and panic, Chu Feng shouted lightly. The thunder power mixed with radiant clouds obliterated all 1,000 Wu clan members. All Wu monsters charging on the summit of Kongtong Mountain were terrified. What kind of power is this? They stood there, feeling as if the apocalypse had arrived. Someone could actually fight Wu monsters single-handedly, while attacking together. High in the sky and around the mountain, the watching clans also saw the summit of Kongtong Mountain, where a faint golden shadow appeared, taking the form of a human. With a wave of its hand, it brought destruction to heaven and earth. Supremely powerful. There was no smell of blood in the air. Only the terror was pervasive. The thunder instantly vaporized all the corpses without medicine. Chu Feng dispersed it with a wave. 3,000 thunderbolts and the swirling clouds high above. The once vanished sun appeared again. All the battles started and ended in a flash. Congratulations to the host for obtaining energy. The territory has leveled up to level 4. The area now covers 100 miles in every direction. Chu Feng took a deep breath, looking at the desolate plain ahead. A deadly intent flashed in his eyes. With the territory leveling up to level 4, Chu Feng noticed that Jiu Feng and Jing were now within its range as well. He had been worried that the two would escape, but now he could finally relax. All the mountains and rivers, clear lands and evil grounds, at that moment, were all shining with the faint golden shadow. Suddenly, the laws within 100-mile radius seemed to be pouring toward the summit of Kongtong Mountain. Unfortunately, the view was not particularly clear. Their strength was far from enough. Ji Yin roared, furious and terrified, bringing so many Yogu clan members. Nearly all were slaughtered. But after the roar, Jiu Feng and Jing did not act. 2,000 powerful golden immortals were instantly killed, leaving them shocked within. Though they could also instantly kill golden immortals, they definitely could not do it as effortlessly as Xiu Feng. Both the Wu and Yogu felt the urge to retreat. Lu Feng let out a long breath, rubbing his slightly sore wrist. He glared coldly at the two opponents. He did not pressure them immediately. As a Grand Luo golden immortal, they were definitely more valuable than the rabble killed just now. Xu Feng evaluated the surrounding humans. Xu Feng narrowed his eyes. He was considering whether the flesh of Woyao clan could be eaten. In the sky, blinding runes and golden light continued to flash and flow. A dense concentration of power made it difficult for any race nearby to approach. As the territory was elevated, everything within 100 miles fell completely under Xu Feng's control. At this moment, the surviving Wei clan who had not fought had already escaped from the land of destruction, hiding behind Zhu Fang and Ji Yi. They trembled with fear. They had dominated for many years, but had never encountered such a powerful human, and were completely unable to resist. Take one last look around, because this is the last scenery you'll ever see in this life. Kneel before me! Zhu Fang's massive body crashed to the ground, instantly causing an earth-shattering collapse. The law surrounding him dimmed in an instant, and the power within him began to dissipate. He was gripped by terror and unease, and fear flashed in his eyes. He stared intently at the graceful and calm Zhu Fang. Meanwhile, Ji Yin nearby also crashed down with a roar on the two people. Their enormous bodies kicked up a huge cloud of dust. The laws around them continued to fade, until finally disappearing completely. The ground fractured terribly beneath their kneeling, forming a terrifyingly deep pit, already shattered beyond repair. The ground was broken and ruined. That one kneel nearly split their bodies apart. A pungent scent of blood wafted out from their wounds. In the blink of an eye, pooling into a lake of blood, they tried to stand up, but some invisible force seemed to restrain them, making it impossible to move. If you have the guts, kill me. I will never kneel in submission. Human ant! Ji Yin roared. The thunderous shout echoed across heaven and earth, instantly rousing the 3,000 humans. Zhu Fang raised his right hand, his fingertips gliding as if across water, blocking the terrifying sound waves. You'll die, but not by my hand, Zhu Fang said coldly. He lowered his head. A dense golden mist spread from beneath his feet. Everywhere the mist passed, cracks closed up, and plants grew anew. A strange scene unfolded. The 3,000 humans loudly hailed Zhu Fang as their supreme leader. At the top of Kongtong Mountain, Zhu Fang raised his hand, making all the Wei bodies vanish completely. Life surged back once more. The scene stunned all races present. Powerful beings like the ancient monsters were indeed troublesome. Now he truly understood the hardship humans faced during this era, without mighty protection. It's hard to imagine whether humans would have already been wiped out before the words even faded. Zhu Fang turned to look at two from the human tribe's third group. He spoke in his sovereign tone. Human 2, Human 3, go cut off their heads. As he spoke, Zhu Fang once again suppressed Zhu Fang and Ji Yin, causing their massive bodies to instantly shrink to normal human size. At this moment, Human 2 and Human 3 from the third group pressed forward, gritting their teeth, clutching tightly the stone-crafted weapons in their hands. Zhu Fang clenched his palm, and Ji Yin and Zhu Fang immediately appeared before his eyes. Their 9 heads merged as one, transforming into ordinary forms as they looked at the humans before them. Human 2 and Human 3 exchanged a nod, then raised their weapons high, slashing towards their opponents' necks. As the clash of metal and stone rang out, a spark exploded with their attack, and their weapons were instantly deflected. Seeing their own weapons repelled by the enemy's body, they could only sneer. Ants trying to kill me. Get lost. These are just crude human tools. My feathers are thousands of times sharper than the stones in your hands. Zhu Fang's voice was full of ridicule and arrogance. Confronted with the taunts and mockery of these ancient monsters, Human 2 and Human 3 were at a loss, glaring angrily at the stones a short distance from them. They had once suffered much oppression, and even with the ancient monsters before them now, they still lacked the strength to slay them. The weakness of humanity deeply wounded them. This is exactly the power of the ancient monsters. No matter how strong their bodies, their physical strength remained their greatest weapon. Zhu Fang opened and closed his palm, causing golden patterned blades to appear in his hand. These 2 blades took form again in the chaos, surrounded by a golden mist, and filled with boundless killing power. Looking at the now proud Zhu Fang and Ji Yin, the blades floated toward them. When they arrived in front of the 2 humans,
He said, Human 2 and Human 3, take these.
These golden blades are each arm length. They glowed with dazzling golden light, and even emanated a gentle power as you approached. Human 2 and Human 3 saw this, and grabbed the blades without hesitation, then strode toward Ji Yin and Zhu Fang with powerful steps. As they saw the blades in the humans' hands, Zhu Fang and Ji Yin were terrified inside. Despite their power, They sensed that the force within these blades was far from ordinary. A shadow seemed to loom over them both. Looking at Jiying and Jiufeng opposite them, Human 2 and Human 3 were filled with rage. In their minds, they remembered the humans once carried off, and the children in their tribe. The memories flashed like a revolving lantern. Their chests burned with anger. Both swung their blades at once, brilliant white arcs cutting through the air, making the very air vibrate. A deadly killing intent spread all around. Xiaofeng understood the resonance of the blades. The hatred and anger of these two, built up over many years, were enhanced by the power of the golden patterns. The aura of the blades surged through the void, as if slicing through eternity itself. With a sharp hiss, moisture in the air instantly evaporated. The golden blade flashes swept past in an instant, and Jiyan and Jiufeng's heads were chopped off. But before the humans could celebrate, the heads that had fallen instantly transformed into gigantic serpent and phoenix heads. Their eyes blazed with fury. Human 2 and Human 3 jumped back in fright, yet still clung tightly to the blades. And then, even after their heads were cut off, in the blink of an eye, new ones grew back, confronted with their resurrected foes. Xiaofeng paid no attention.
He waved his hand, causing flames to burst from the ground.
Orange-yellow fire blazed upward, making the air temperature suddenly soar. Countless dry branches rushed into the flames on their own. The fire grew ever larger. He glanced at this moment at Jiufeng and Jiying, now pale with fright. After a cold laugh,
He turned again to Human 2 and Human 3.
and said, "Take their heads and roast them over the fire. Share the food with everyone." Facing Xiaofeng, the two glared fiercely at Jiufeng and Jiyin, but finally set aside their fear of the monsters and began to prepare the heads. As members of the 3,000-strong human tribe, handling phoenix and serpent heads was no difficult task for them. In a short time, the phoenix and serpent heads were skinned and cleaned, divided into thousands of portions and roasted over the fire. It was a shocking scene. Xiaofeng, who had worried if the heads could be eaten, finally relaxed once he tasted them himself. He called for Human 1 and Human 2 to keep at it. With the golden blades, several dazzling white flashes followed one after another, and more serpent and phoenix heads dropped to the ground. With Xiaofeng's restraining power, neither the serpent nor the phoenix heads could resist. Nothing could break free from Xiaofeng's power. No matter how much chaos 9 phoenix and 9 eagle caused, the two of them remained unafraid. The other humans also joined in after Renyi agreed. They raised their weapons and slashed. "That's enough for me to break free. I will wipe all of you out." 9 Yin roared. But at this moment, his voice was just like a normal person's. There was no overwhelming power to destroy mountains and rivers with a single laugh. On the other side, 9 Phoenix was also furious. As a powerful member of the Wu tribe, a giant turtle in the wilderness now had its head chopped off for meat. They glared angrily at the humans before them. However, it was pointless. Even after exhausting all their strength, they simply couldn't break free. Soon, both of them had 8 heads chopped off. At this moment, they panicked, because once the last head was cut off, they would die for sure. Meanwhile, the myriad clans watching from other sanctuaries were all shocked. Eating Wu or demon in the wilderness isn't anything special. It's quite common. But eating severed heads right in front of everyone, that's definitely a first. Especially since it was humans on the other side. The weakest among all the races, they saw that human swing his blade and split the heads open, with thick, fresh blood spurting out instantly. The blood was rich with mysterious substances. What spread wasn't the smell of blood, but a faint fragrance. At that time, in every large pot, the steaming meat sent up swirling mist. 3,000 humans feasted heartily, grease dripping from the corners of their mouths as they ate. Warm energy flowed through their bodies, radiating brilliant blood-red light. The power within this meat and blood was refined with every human slash, and had become incredibly pure, as dazzling as thousands of suns. Looking down from above, almost every human who tasted the meat was glowing all over. Vast energy flowed from their pores. These are the benefits of using Wu demon flesh and blood. They're greatly advantageous for humans. The bodies of these 3,000 humans were undergoing a qualitative transformation.
A scene that shocked all the clans.
Meanwhile, the Wu and demon races witnessing the scene were all enraged. Just these mere humans, right in front of all the clans. were devouring Wu demon flesh and blood. How outrageous! How could they tolerate this? Back in the heavenly court, rivers of veins popped on Dong Huangtai's forehead from anger. He lost his usual composure for someone always seen as invincible. Filled with fury, the image in the magic mirror shattered instantly. The sky shook and trembled, startling all the demons into panicked submission. Then, he gritted his teeth and yelled, "Follow me for airborne assault." Meanwhile, inside the Pangu Palace, thick, tangible bloodlust filled the air. The mighty Zhu Wu Qiangliang trembled with rage. His eyes filled with bloodshot veins. He roared, "Humans are like ants." With a mighty howl, the entire Pangu Palace shook violently. Even more, thunder rumbled across the sky. Dark clouds covered half the heavens. Quasi-saint pressure radiated outward. The snake-shaped artifact in his hand flicked its tongue, releasing Qiangliang's fury. On his thick arm, the serpent coiled even tighter. Then Qiangliang turned and left. His four hooves strode forward, crossing thousands of miles in an instant, accompanied by rolling thunder, alarming all the surrounding clans. Whether it was Qiangliang or Dong Huangtai, both reacted instantly. The sky above Kongtong Mountain opened up. That rift was unimaginably wide, like a giant eye opening wide. The eye of the earth radiated an awe-inspiring and majestic power. Dong Huangtai walked across in a beam of golden light. Bands of divine halos swirled behind him. Thunderous noises roared out, deafening all. Brilliant power was bursting forth from around him. Kang Liang arrived with a boom. With a single step, he shattered a mountain tall as tens of thousands of people. Rage surged uncontrollably from Kang Liang's chest. The snake on him also grew massive in the blink of an eye. It coiled around half a mountain. The Eastern Emperor himself has descended. A mighty one is present. Exclaims of disbelief broke out. He blinked. Once again he looked through a magical mirror and gazed at that supremely authoritative figure. Then he changed his perspective. He could gradually make out Dong Huangtai's face. And in the very next second, Dong Huang glared fiercely. In that instant, the mirror shattered. Then, from within the mirror surged a terrifying force. The power of a quasi-saint came tearing through the void. Without any physical contact, just a menacing glare was enough to destroy everything. The great cultivator was immediately obliterated the next second. He had angered Dong Huangtai, regarded as an ant crushed for vengeance. Meanwhile, Kang Liang stood tall atop the mountain of thousands. The coiled serpent flicked its cold tongue in and out. The quasi-saint pressure radiating from Kang Liang was powerful enough. But he didn't care about the prying eyes of the myriad tribes. Instead, he stared at Xie Chufeng, still utterly fearless. "General, save me." Upon seeing the arrival of Dong Huangtai and Kang Liang, Jiu Feng and Ji Yin desperately called for help, clinging to hope. They couldn't hold back any longer. The human before them was far too brutal. Right in front of their eyes, he gnawed on decapitated heads. It was just terrifying. They were once the ruling class, devouring others without a second thought. Now they were reduced to bloodied corpses. All their previous fury and arrogance faded completely. Dong Huang cast a sidelong glance at the Jiyin monster commander. His eyes, seemingly holding countless stars, glared at Xie Chufeng. He shouted, "Human ant! How dare you eat a celestial monster commander? Release them this instant." His voice carried the pressure of a quasi-saint. Ranges of mountains quaked. Resonance rang out. "Let my sister go now, or I'll slaughter your entire human race." From afar, Kang Liang also roared from atop a high mountain. The giant serpent coiled around the mountain slope, suddenly spewed bolts of lightning from its jaws. It triggered a heaven and earth anomaly. At any moment, it would pursue the peak of Kongtong Mountain ahead. At the same time, the two quasi-saints released overwhelming auras. With a force strong enough to shake the world, they bore down. All the tribes of prehistory shivered in terror. 3,000 humans trembled uncontrollably. They dared not touch the giant chunks of meat in their hands. The pressure crashed down. Time and space seemed frozen. Even breathing became incredibly difficult. Yet faced with the might of two quasi-saints, Xie Yufeng was still unafraid.
He sneered, "If the sorcerer and demon races can slaughter humans,
Why can't humans eat sorcerers and demons?" Before he finished speaking, Xie Chufeng turned to look at Human 2 and Human 3, who were holding weapons. commanding them to take action, to behead the last heads of Jiufeng and Jiyin. After exchanging glances, Human 2 and Human 3 quickly walked over to Jiufeng and Jiyin. Before they could cry out again, the blades fell again. Bang, bang. 2 heads hit the ground instantly. Fresh blood erupted from the clean-cut wounds on the spot. A spray of blood exploded. The entire area turned into a scene of slaughter. The golden blood began to pool into a river in the blink of an eye. A terrifying aura spread. They actually beheaded them in public. All observing tribes were shocked. Such audacity. Even in front of the Eastern Emperor and the ancestral sorcerer, they dared. All tribes of prehistory were horrified. They felt these humans were simply too savage. At this moment, the last head was severed. The lives of Jiyin and Jiufeng were extinguished forever. Their pupils filled with unwilling, humiliated hatred. As Jiyan and Jiufeng died, the territory absorbed enough power. Congratulations, host, for acquiring energy. Territory level has risen to level 5. The territory's reach now extends 1,000 miles in every direction. With the territory's upgrade, Si Jiufeng felt he could control an even wider area. He could even sense the movements of fish and shrimp between rivers and mountains with precision. When he looked up, skipping over the Eastern Emperor, he shot a sidelong glance at Kang Liang. Si Jiufeng only felt a bit of regret that neither the Eastern Emperor nor Kang Liang were within this 1,000-mile range. He had wanted to use the massacre of Jiyin and Jiufeng to lure in more powerful sorcerers and demons. Kill a couple, gain energy, level up and hunt again. Unfortunately, he hadn't predicted that both the Eastern Emperor and Kang Liang were too cautious. The moment they arrived, they purposefully kept their distance. Due to this move, all the subsequent plans fell apart. No wonder they're the overlords of prehistory. Si Jiufeng sighed with emotion. If it were anyone else, they would have already attacked for the sake of the demon's dignity, or rampaged because their own sister had been humiliated, throwing all caution to the wind. Yet, by contrast, these two were excessively calm. Si Jiufeng understood. They most likely sensed something was wrong. Besides, whether it was the Eastern Emperor or Kang Liang, the distance between them was nothing to them. Crossing it in an instant would be effortless. What's more, the sorcerer tribe excels at wielding laws. With someone like Kang Liang, a quasi-saint, he would only be even mightier than the sorcerer leader slain before. Far more powerful. However, killing Jiyin and Jiufeng right in front of them still completely enraged Dongwang and Kang Liang. In a fit of fury, Kang Liang made his move. The thunder he'd been accumulating had already reached its peak. Glows of light whirled in the sky, spinning overhead, unleashing runes of the grand Tao of thunder. Even Si Jiufeng was amazed. No wonder he's a quasi-saint skilled in thunder. The moment he attacked, it became a sea of lightning for 10,000 miles. It was like the end of the world. The apocalyptic thunder continued to gather overhead. Then came a thunderous boom, driving the torrents of runic laws straight toward the peak of Skull Mountain. It was as if the endless sea had been sliced open, utterly overwhelming. At the same moment, the giant serpent coiled around the mountain opened its bloody maw and fired a dazzling silver beam from deep within its fangs. It flashed like an aurora, crushing everything in its path. You slaughtered my people. You deserve extermination, you ants. You've defied your superiors and must perish. Those two earth-shaking roars followed one after the other. The quasi-sane pressure was overwhelming. The endless thunder and the aurora thunder intertwined, forming the power of laws, overwhelmingly terrifying. Even those not targeted directly, just the diffusion of those laws alone was enough to shatter an entire mountain range. Rivers suddenly reversed course, channels evaporated away, and white mist steamed up. Kang Liang's wrath could shake the heavens. His might could split the sky. At this moment he went all out. With dazzling brilliance, it was as if vast lands of thunder descended, all concentrated on suppressing Kangtong. Every mighty cultivator nearby could feel the full power of the quasi-saint's pressure. Even the void itself was cracking apart. Wisps of black mist seeped out. A crushing force pressed down. They felt they couldn't breathe and were on the verge of suffocation. Everyone wants to escape here as soon as possible. At that moment, The aura first engulfed the peak of Kongtong Mountain. Amidst the raging winds, nothing grows. Huge boulders were ground into dust by the storm, instantly annihilated. 3,000 human clans, now facing the pressure of a quasi-saint, already can barely breathe. Even the protection Chu Feng granted earlier is failing. Everyone is about to suffocate to death. Qiangliang erupts once again, shattering the heavens with his own power, displaying his Dao laws. The dojo is going all out now. Is this really the power of a quasi-saint? Even the sky is shattered. A terrifying aura continues to radiate. In an instant, all the watching experts of the myriad races shut their eyes. It was that lightning that was especially blinding. Their eyes sting painfully. Some people's eyes are bleeding. They're utterly shocked. Xiangliang's blood energy is like an ocean. Fully unleashed, his blood turns golden, suppresses all directions. Like a revered presence coming from ancient times, Xiangliang wants to sweep through the world. The closest few powerful beings can't withstand it. Their bodies completely shatter. Then they're struck by thunder waves from the surge, instantly annihilated. But most critically, some experts cast protective blessings. But even their clan's protection is broken down, exploded directly, no longer exist. You dare call yourself the supreme of the human clan? Where did you get this courage? To fully declare war on my witch clan. Ancestor Witch Qiangliang roars. His roar at this moment is terrifying beyond measure. Directly shatters the void. A black storm sweeps out from the sky. Silver storm of Dao laws turns into runes, striking deep into the void. Resonates an impossibly terrifying echo. An echo like that from the depths of the heavens, making all races tremble with fear. Quasi-saint power turns out to be even stronger than imagined. Everyone from the myriad races is horrified, and among them are experts nearing quasi-saint level. But seeing Qiangliang going all out like this, still feel themselves no match. This drop of Qiangliang's essence blood is blinding. Silver blood is already surging and roaring. Even thunder weaves through every pore on his body. Many strong experts among the races feel a chill. That's a sign the Dao laws are at their limits. They become a part of it themselves. Unimaginably powerful. Kongtong Mountain Peak. Facing Qiangliang's fierce assault, the previous protection for the 3,000 humans finally shatters. Suddenly, terrifying pressure descends. Overwhelming fear. Chu Feng waves his hand at this moment. 3,000 streams of power spread from his palm, forming a golden shield to protect the humans. As this power descends, the terrifying pressure and overwhelming force disappear completely. The 3,000 humans slowly recover. They look up. Right now, the sky looks like a shattered mirror, as if a touch would break it apart. Silver thunder is still spreading across the void, about to radiate to the infinite ends of space. Everyone is stunned and shivering. Unbelievable! That's Ancestor Witch Qiangliang, a renowned quasi-saint of the prehistoric age. And now he's unleashing all his power. He is wild and untamed, as if he's lost his mind. He wants to push his power to the limit for mutual destruction. 3,000 humans. At that moment, Chu Feng made his move. He took a step forward. The space rippled, and waves appeared. In the distance, a sea of mixed thunder laws was already pouring down. It swept across the sky, covering everything. It looked even more apocalyptic than the apocalypse itself. These humans were doomed when faced with an all-out attack from a quasi-saint like Kong Li Yong. Even a quasi-saint from among the myriad races might not be able to win. The weak humans were even more panicked. Chu Feng took a deep breath. A certain power around him was being unleashed. Even his hair was glowing with a golden light, each strand sparkling. When his eyes opened and closed, a great power flowed and shined. Mist surged all around him, making him appear both mysterious and divine. Then he charged toward the howling sea of thunder laws. He opened his mouth, revealing a terrifying power. Then he took a deep breath and drew in all the power that entered the sky above the territory, swallowing it into his stomach. At this moment, the morning glow rose everywhere, brilliant with a shimmering radiance. The dazzling laws filling the sky were transformed into pure substance and were completely devoured by Chu Feng. In the distance, Donghuang Tai realized something was wrong, but still showed no sign of intervening. In the blink of an eye, all the power unleashed by Kong Liang was absorbed and dissolved by Chu Feng. The deafening thunder faded away, and the world suddenly became still. All the prehistoric races watched this scene, utterly shocked. The battle was over in an instant, like the arrival of a primordial divine beast, and then faded away as quietly as spring rain. At that moment, all was silent. The prehistoric races all watched in utter astonishment. As for Kong Liang, the one who acted, he was even more shocked and confused. Just some insignificant humans, mere ants, swallowed his power. Even the mighty ones of all races dared not face it. Yet these weak humans effortlessly neutralized the full force strike of a quasi-saint. If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, they would find it impossible to believe. In fact, even having witnessed it, they were unwilling to admit it, let alone that the opponent was human. But Chu Feng swallowed that vast sea of laws without even the slightest problem, as if he had just had a meal, and gave a satisfying burp. This action instantly snapped Kong Liang back to his senses, his face turning extremely ugly. Soon, a raging fire of fury ignited in his chest. This was a humiliation. He had been silently mocked by a human, and in front of the myriad races no less. Chu Feng wiped away the last trace of thunder from the corner of his mouth, and looked at Kong Liang with a sneer. So that's all a quasi-saint can do. His chilling sneer was like a sword piercing through the sky, stabbing straight into Kong Liang's heart, causing unbearable pain. He was now completely sure that the power just now would have been enough to kill 10 top experts from the prehistoric races. Seeing Kong Liang furious but unmoved, Chu Feng kept a cold face and said nothing more. It had to be said. Kong Liang and Donghuang Taiyi's caution was really troublesome. Even though they were just outside the borders of the territory, they still refused to step in. Even with Kong Liang's earlier strike, he still had not entered the territory. If he did step in, it wouldn't be as simple as just swallowing the power of thunder. At that moment, Donghuang in the sky made his move as well. He looked down at Kong Liang below and snorted. Anyone who kills only the humans is trash. You can't even handle a single human. Facing Donghuang's ridicule, Kong Liang suppressed his anger. He knew that fighting alone, he was not Donghuang Taiyi's match. Then, divine patterns burst forth from his body with a sacred dazzling light. In an instant, Donghuang Taiyi summoned the Donghuang Bell. With the appearance of the Donghuang Bell, the endless drizzling rain was immediately dispersed. Blinding purple light spread and erupted, covering the entire sky and turning mountains and rivers a different color. The entire land was instantly submerged by mysterious misty fog. The pressure from the top quasi-saint blew away everything in an instant, sweeping through every corner of the forests and mountains. Amid the purple waves, the Donghuang Bell unleashed its own majesty. Immediately, Donghuang began to demonstrate his prowess, bringing the bell out from the ripples. With a humming sound, ripples spread out, like a tangible sound wave, radiating rapidly across the world, quickly enveloping the entire land. As the bell's sound and ripples passed, everything in their path was annihilated. Mountains and rivers collapsed. Rivers backflowed, and all beings were suppressed. All 3,000 humans at the mountaintop already felt an endless, boundless terror. In the blink of an eye, the Donghuang Bell was already suspended above the mountaintop. The sound waves and ripples continued to spread. Some humans couldn't bear it, kneeling, clutching their ears, wailing and roaring, feeling like their eardrums were about to burst. They were in extreme pain. Even Kong Liang, being a quasi-saint, felt overwhelming pressure. Fear arose in his heart. He realized that as long as Donghuang wielded the Donghuang Bell, he would never be a match. His eyes were filled with dread. The surrounding prehistoric races were even more terrified, feeling the oppression from Donghuang and the Donghuang Bell. Not only was Donghuang himself a quasi-saint, he was the top among quasi-saints in the world. The mere origins of the Donghuang Bell were extraordinary. As one of the 3 great innate treasures of the prehistoric era, once the Donghuang Bell was unleashed, it had the power to destroy the heavens and the earth. It had the power to destroy the heavens and the earth. If a quasi-saint like Donghuang wielded it, he could even fight against saints. This is the foundation of the heavenly court. Although, they didn't know how that human neutralized the moves of Konglun, ancestor of the Wu. Now that Dong Huang is wielding the Dong Huang bell, they feared this would truly be annihilation. Some powers spoke in secret. And as to whether Dong Huang wielding the bell could rival a saint, that was beyond question. Among the myriad prehistoric races, there were some quasi-saints who kept quiet. Even if that human had power comparable to a quasi-saint. So what? Dong Huang is not an ordinary quasi-saint. All beings wandered in confusion. Consciousnesses of all things faded. They struggled desperately. Some even had the corners of their eyes split apart for standing too close, unable to bear the sound waves from the bell, as their bodies exploded, falling with hatred. The humans will pay for your arrogance, Tai Yi roared, and began to unleash the power of the Dong Huang bell. The bell's waves echoed on, sweeping across the earth. But at that moment, Xi Shufeng moved. A golden hand emerged suddenly from the void, like an ancient primordial existence, making its move with a mysterious rhythm. A terrifying force descended. The sound waves of the Dong Huang bell were shattered, and in the blink of an eye, the bell's power dissolved. There was no resistance at all. Thanks for the gift, Dong Huang. We won't be polite about taking this. The golden hand swept out and instantly grabbed the Dong Huang bell, before suddenly smashing it down, faced with this overwhelming force. No matter how hard the Eastern Emperor bell struggled, it was all in vain. Seeing the Eastern Emperor bell being shot away, Dong Huang Taiyi was shocked. He tried to use his power to retrieve it. Instantly, the power of a quasi-saint was unleashed. It clashed with the mighty force wielded by Chu Feng. But no matter how much the Eastern Emperor bell struggled, or how Dong Huang Taiyi unleashed his might, they still couldn't break free. Seeing this, Chu Feng stopped entangling with him. He shouted a command. The once colossal Eastern Emperor bell, in the blink of an eye, shrank to the size of an ordinary bell. Its surface still seethed with dense energy, utterly wild and violent. High in the sky, Dong Huang watched as the Eastern Emperor bell was taken away, and was instantly enraged. Return it immediately, or I'll slaughter your entire clan today.
His fury erupted.
The immense secret power and might around him surged at once. Strange phenomena appeared in the skies. The entire prehistoric world shook. Not only the mountains and rivers, but even the whole heavenly court felt it as well. The surging wrath from deep within Dong Huang Taiyi's heart. The Eastern Emperor bell had been taken, which enraged Dong Huang even more than Zhu Yun's brutal death. Yet, holding the Eastern Emperor bell, Chu Feng let out a cold laugh. Even though the Eastern Emperor bell kept struggling, now that it was in his hand, how could it escape if it refused to behave? Seeing the bell struggle so violently, Chu Feng waved his hand and forcibly erased Dong Huang's mark from it. The moment the mark was removed, the Eastern Emperor bell gradually calmed down. Its previously trembling bell waves subsided at once. Looking at the Eastern Emperor bell in his hand, Chu Feng said coldly, "In my territory. Not to mention innate treasures. Even your master and..." At this moment, the imperial physician suddenly let out a sound and spat a mouthful of bright red blood. The Eastern Emperor bell's mark was connected to him. Now, with its mark forcibly erased,
He suffered a backlash.
cracks even began to creep across the imperial physician's body. The violent backlash left him severely wounded. The Eastern Emperor was injured. All the great ones of myriad clans were stunned in fear. The supreme being of the clan had actually wounded the demon race. The hidden quasi-saints behind Dong Huang were shocked. This was truly a major event shaking the prehistoric world. After all, the one injured was the foremost person beneath the saints of Hongwang today. Staring at the crack in his palm, Dong Huang Taiyi was stunned. He was a quasi-saint, yet suffered bodily rupture from the backlash. Seeing this unfold, even Shangliang was intimidated. As a quasi-saint, he knew very well just how powerful Dong Huang Taiyi's body was. And yet now, he suffered backlash and broke apart. He wouldn't dare make a rash move. Staring at that human, he was filled with retreating thoughts. Meanwhile, Chu Feng, who had just seized the Eastern Emperor bell, paid no heed to Dong Huang's fury.
He casually clenched his hand.
And a silver shining rope appeared. The rope threaded through the small hole atop the Eastern Emperor bell. He chuckled. This little bell isn't bad at all. Without a care, he used the secured Eastern Emperor bell to tie up his hair. A cool breeze swept through his loose long hair from behind, leaving him feeling utterly refreshed. All the watching clans were utterly shocked. They couldn't believe it. An innate treasure was just used by that human as an accessory in his hair. This human was truly arrogant. The mighty figures of the myriad clans were terrified. They had no clue about his origins. Yet he was able to overpower both Dongwang and Qiangliang, two quasi-saints. His strength was simply terrifying. The elites among all the races no longer dared to underestimate that seemingly insignificant human. From the start of this battle till now, he had captured the entire city's attention. Everyone had already witnessed this human's power. And right at that moment, seeing their own, the Donghuang bell is being used as a mere ornament. Donghuang Tai is absolutely furious. Rage surges into his heart at the sight.
He coughs up a large mouthful of blood.
His blood and vital energy are in turmoil.
Even as a quasi-saint,
His face has turned somewhat pale. "And you are too arrogant."
he is enraged, but Yu Feng merely glances at him.
He says nothing. But in truth, he is feeling quite helpless. The Donghuang bell is indeed a treasure. But unfortunately, it is useless to me. Within my territory, I am invincible. Any external force is just icing on the cake. But once I leave this place, I am just a mortal. Forget an innate supreme treasure like the Donghuang bell. I can't even activate a much weaker artifact. Meanwhile, in the distance, Kong Liang realizes that he simply cannot deal with this human. He already has an idea. Suppressing his rage, his tone becomes slightly calmer. He says, "Human, return my sister's body to me, and I will leave immediately." The myriad races are shocked. Is Kong Liang backing down? Some powerful beings are horrified. Even a quasi-saint is yielding. This human ant, does he really have the ability to kill a quasi-saint? While it's true, Yu Feng took the Dongwang bell to say he could actually kill a quasi-saint, they still find it hard to believe. After all, aside from the saints, quasi-saints are the supreme rulers of the world, with few enemies who can match them. And what if I don't hand it over? Yu Feng sneers mockingly. You came to my door intending to invade the humans, and now you expect me to release her body just because you said a few words? You idiotic ant. Kong Ling, who had just calmed his tone, suddenly explodes with rage upon hearing this. Ant, return it at once. Otherwise, the army of my Wu clan will surely descend and trample your Kongtu mountain into dust. Background music. However, Yu Feng remains completely indifferent. He turns to look at the humans who are full of fear, yet are holding their ground through sheer rage and hatred. He commands Rena and Rensan, build the fires and roast the meat. Yu Feng intends to provoke them further. He orders 3,000 humans to turn Jiufeng into a roast. When it comes to eating meat, Ren A and Ren San are naturally delighted. Greeting the 3,000 humans, they begin to skin and debone Jiufeng, slicing the meat and putting it on the grill. Having done this before, they are now incredibly skilled. In the distance, Kong Liang glares at Jiufeng with frantic rage, watching her body being prepared for a feast. He grinds his teeth so hard they nearly shatter. Vast thunder surges around him once again, surrounding his body. A crimson haze begins to erupt, completely dyeing the surrounding area. It is an incredibly shocking sight. Meanwhile, Donghuang Tai is also watching closely. A powerful aura is radiating outward, terrifyingly formidable. He is silently setting a trap high in the sky, ruthless and sinister, intending to kill all the humans in an instant. Jiufeng's flesh is soon cooked over the flames. The meat is crystal clear and bright red, exceptionally tender and smooth, flowing with a radiant glow. Even before it's eaten, the substances within that fragrance already begin to improve the human's physical constitutions. It makes one's mouth water. Don't waste these small bones. You can chew them up and swallow them? Ren San leans over to tell the humans beside him. They feel a vast warm power flowing through their bodies, as if they were soaking in a hot spring. The entire summit of Kongtu Mountain is now filled with the aroma of roasting meat. The glowing flesh gradually becomes even more golden and oily. This is no ordinary meat. It is the pure bloodline of the Wu clan, second only to the 12 ancestral witches. Wisps of radiant light erupt continuously. The leg and wing meat are the tastiest. The grease drips into the fire, making a sizzling sound. It is incredibly mouth-watering. This is definitely high tonic meat. Eating it will cause one's blood energy to surge, granting immense strength and significantly improving one's physical constitution. By comparison, Juyin's flesh is even more dazzling. At this time, the demon has been stewed into a soup. The broth is thick and rich, with a fragrant aroma. They have never tasted such delicious snake meat. The humans are overjoyed. Some cannot chew through the snake meat, so they borrow sharp blades to slice it open and put it back in to cook more. The oils from the snake meat are rendered out, floating on the surface of the water. The faint, misty red light reflects on the faces of the 3,000 humans. Seeing that it is ready, Ren-san fishes out a large piece of meat and begins to feast greedily. After one bite, Ren-san immediately lets out a satisfied groan. This first bite makes him feel as if all his pores have opened up. It is exceptionally comfortable. It is simply a divine delicacy. The meat is tender and pink, melting the moment it hits the tongue. The flesh also contains shimmering specks of essence, golden and fragrant. The other races are weeping with envy. It is so delicious. Quick, eat that wing. That is truly the best part. The 3,000 humans are eating with pure joy. Someone swallows the snake gall, and their body instantly erupts with radiant light. A large amount of misty essence surges from their pores, sounding like the rumble of thunder within their bones. That is where the essence lies, setting taste aside. It is definitely the best thing in this pot of snake soup. Seeing this, the various races are shocked beyond words. These humans are far too bold to actually feast upon Jiufeng and Jiyin. However, even as they witness the humans' brutality, they are also extremely envious. After all, that is the flesh of Jiyin and Jiufeng. Eating it would be of great benefit to anyone. At this moment, only 2 people in the world are the most enraged. Kong Liang, the Donghuang Tai. Right now, Song Linying is roaring in the distance with furious eyes, wishing he could shatter the mountains and rivers and pierce through the sky. Radiant thunder blooms all over his body. The hair on Kong Liang's body is almost standing on end, and the great snake in his hand is being squeezed out of shape. He is driven absolutely mad with rage. These humans are too barbaric, eating his sister's flesh in public, and they are being so arrogant about it. It makes him cough up blood. With a shudder of his body, several bolts of lightning strike out uncontrollably. The rumbling explosions hit the ground, tearing up vast stretches of land, shattering everything. The various races hiding nearby are instantly annihilated. Those bolts of lightning are as thick as pillars of a cage, shaking the firmament. They are terrifyingly powerful. High in the sky, Donghuang is also fuming. The divine halo behind him vibrates, shedding sheets of brilliant light. It is dazzling to the extreme, covering half of the sky. Both of them are gathering terrifying power. Their rage has reached its limit. Watching Jiufeng being devoured, Kong Liang can no longer hold back. Anger has numbed his reason. Carrying endless thunder and heaven-shaking killing intent, he charges at Chu Feng. Kong Liang's hair is disheveled, and a terrifying killing light shoots from his eyes. Fast as a lightning bolt, he turns into a thin silver line, shattering the mountain beneath his feet. This attack is even more fierce than before, like a divine ribbon of energy, frighteningly sharp. If it were to hit a quasi-saint, they would hardly survive. His eyes are filled with the color of blood, made Kong Liang's blurred vision turn blood red in large patches. He was furious beyond measure. He roared that humanity should be punished. This roar alarmed all races. The sound wave turned into a visible, substantial ripple, spreading out in all directions. A vast swath of lush land collapsed with a roar. The heavens sent down showers of thunderbolts. Billions of lightning bolts crashed down, striking the ground like massive cages, creating countless giant craters spewing black smoke. At this moment, heaven and earth seemed to descend into apocalypse. All living things were terrified, facing the charging Kong Liang. The 3,000 humans stood at attention. The surging glow around them gathered together, actually forming a curtain of blood-red energy. A look of righteous anger appeared on everyone's faces when the Wu and Yao tribes slaughtered mankind. It was incredibly cruel. Now, regardless of the cycle of retribution, they are about to face slaughter again. Where is justice? They looked in the direction from which Kong Liang was charging. They saw the two giant snakes moving as well. The giant snakes' bodies grew even larger, like mountains 1,000 feet tall moving forward. Their massive bodies carved huge ravines in the land, utterly terrifying. Now, the flickering snake tongues also contained enough power to destroy a whole region. Ready to join Kong Liang in a combined attack at any moment, lightning exploded in the sky. Silvery light illuminated the earth. In a blink, Kong Liang arrived. He swept in, wrapped in roaring thunder, bringing all creation with him.
His fury mixed in.
Ready to wipe out all humans. With one step, he crossed mountains and rivers. The sky changed color and darkened. Huge black clouds rolled in overhead. Countless streams of black smoke spread across the ground, turning into mist rising upward, shrouding the plains. The black mist was the first to enter the territory, utterly terrifying, mixed with thunderbolts inside. Wherever it passed, all things perished. At the same time, the two massive beasts intertwined and lashed out. With their blood-red tongues, the humans vowed to execute Kang Liang. And he roared again, preparing for a full-on descent. But at the moment he stepped into the territory, he suddenly fell from midair. The terrifying flashes of lightning disappeared as well. The all-encompassing thunder died down. Billowing clouds exploded. Sunlight poured down. His enormous body instantly shrank to human size, crashing down from 10,000 meters high.